What would a win Sunday over Mahomes mean for Josh Allen?
Going into next year, he's the guy to beat. In the AFC, that you got to go through Josh Allen, that he would sit at the top of the throne, and that you got to go through Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to get to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. He would be the guy to beat. Now, I'm not saying that I think he's a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. I think that's a conversation. But Josh Allen would be the guy that you got to go chase down. The way that he beat you guys down in week 3 or week 4, and then if he takes you down in the playoffs, then Josh Allen's the guy to go get. Think about this football team right now, Molly, just with Josh Allen at the quarterback. In the last 2 years, they're the second best offense in all of football. They're only behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They just put a 50 burger on the number 1 defense in football in New England. Easily. Like easily. This wasn't a 4-quarter game that was 50 to 44. They could have scored 65 if they wanted to. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in the last 2 seasons have scored 125 touchdowns. Josh Allen is responsible for 100 of them, either throwing or running. That's 80% of their offense. He has become one of the most unstoppable players in all of football. And if they go down to Kansas City this weekend and they beat Kansas City, now we all point and say, Josh Allen is the guy that you have to go beat if you are in the AFC to get back to the Super Bowl. He's earned that. Patrick was that for a couple years. And if he wins this weekend, he continues to sit on the top of the throne. But if Josh Allen goes down there and leads the Bills there against the Chiefs and they win, then Josh Allen's the guy to beat for the AFC.
Well, how do we know that definitively? I mean, the fact of the matter is that Josh Allen has already lost to Patrick Mahomes. He lost to Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game last year. So if he gets the better of him this year, all right, okay, now we got a rivalry that's going on. But I don't know if it definitively is defined as, you're the guy to beat. I think to me, when I think about the possibility of Josh Allen beating Patrick Mahomes, well, what does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means he's going to the Super Bowl. Because I think the winner of this game is representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. That's what I think. I think that Tennessee or Cincinnati falls to the winner of this game. That's just how I view it. I'm not saying Tennessee will be an easy out. And Cincinnati, obviously, with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, stud as well. We can't ignore any of them, all right? But in the end, I think the winner of this game represents the AFC in the Super Bowl at SoFi. That's what I think. We willing to peel that from there, but then we got to see how they perform. And that's what I'm looking at it as that. So Patrick Mahomes, we think Patrick Mahomes is a stud, and we should because he won a Super Bowl championship. He won a league MVP, okay? Not only did he do both of those things, he went to back-to-back Super Bowls as well. That's how we're looking at him. And and obviously, even though every playoff game was at home, he hasn't lost it. He lost the Super Bowl, but he hasn't lost to the playoffs. So I just look at him other than, they did lose to Tom Brady. I apologize.
No.
They lost to Tom Brady 3 years ago. I'm just saying, Josh Allen to me, it would mean, you've arrived. Y'all going to the Super Bowl. We'll see what you do. I don't know if that elevates him against Patrick Mahomes and makes him the quarterback to beat instead of Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, so a couple things. I literally just told you that they're the second best offense in football outside the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's accounted for more touchdowns for his football team than anybody over the last 2 years.
Why are you looking up, Elvis? Why are you looking up?
I'm going to get you. Don't worry.
Okay. I'm just wondering.
This is bedhead.
No, I'm just saying you were looking up. I mean,
Here's my thing. He's looking at the video. Let him live.
Yeah. I'm just recounting the multiple points I made against you that you ignored conveniently.
I do tend to do that.
So this past offseason, the whole question was, who is the best team or who is the likeliest team to knock off the Kansas City Chiefs? And a lot of us said, well, the Buffalo Bills or maybe the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
If Josh Allen, for the second time in a row, goes and beats the Kansas City Chiefs, then he would be the team to beat. And we will go into next season saying who is best equipped to most likely knock off the Buffalo Bills to get back to the Super Bowl. And we'll say the Kansas City Chiefs. But if Josh Allen does it, Stephen A., it's not just whether they're going to the Super Bowl. He becomes the quarterback to beat in the AFC. I loved Peyton Manning growing up, and I loved Tom Brady growing up. They were my 2 favorite quarterbacks when I was in my teen years. But it was always, as much as I loved Peyton and as much as I thought he was incredible, you got to go beat Tom Brady. Whether I think you're a better quarterback or not, you got to go beat Tom Brady. That becomes the conversation here if Josh Allen does it again.
Okay. What I'm saying to you is this. When we talked about Buffalo, if you remember, we talked about their defense. We talked about how big time that defense was. See, to me, it's not just about the outcome. It's how you perform. I've seen it, like, for example, let's say, the
You're
Buffalo
a piece of work, man.
No. Let's say, for example, seriously, I'm being serious here. Let's say, for example, that Buffalo goes and the kids say, now, I don't anticipate this happening. You don't anticipate this happening. But what if Buffalo goes into Kansas City and neither offense can do anything? But Buffalo's defense all of a sudden raises its game and completely neutralizes Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And Josh Allen resembles Jimmy G and from the playoffs with the Super Bowl year where he ain't had to do anything but hand the damn ball off, and San Francisco's defense took him to the Super Bowl. What I'm saying is how you perform matters. If Josh Allen performs big time and that's the reason Buffalo wins, you got a point. If Josh Allen doesn't perform big time, well, then that's a different narrative. And I think we got to pay attention to that because we already know what Patrick Mahomes can do. We think we know what Josh Allen can do. We believe in him. But in the same breath, the resume doesn't quite compare to Patrick Mahomes just yet.
Well, the resume when it comes to postseason success,
Yes,
I'll give you that.
That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about the postseason.
I'll give you that.
About.
But he's only had the singular opportunity. And granted, Patrick performed better last postseason versus Josh Allen than Josh Allen did versus Patrick. But if the Buffalo Bills defense comes and plays well, that's not going to come out of nowhere. It's the top 2 defense in the NFL. So I think your point is it's fine. But at the end of the day, Stephen A., bottom line is this: whether it's a dominant offensive performance or an average offensive performance, this game is more than likely going to come down to what quarterback makes a little bit more plays. Whether it's throwing the football, run. Go back to when they played week 4, week 5. Like Kansas City could not do anything offensively outside of Patrick's legs. So if Patrick has a ton of success running the football again, that's going to be huge.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.